gut instinct, something that just pulls at your heart and says you have to do it. And it's something my mother, I think, always told me that, you have only one life to live, and while you're young, you can work and work as hard as you can, and one day you'll be able to kind of look back and enjoy that. So I figured, well, I guess I'm kind of young, and I'm going to work really hard, and I'm not going to stop until, I get what I need to get done.
So tell us about Woodbell Employment Services.
Woodbell Employment Services is a temporary and permanent placement agency, and we staff in all areas. We want to make sure that our clients feel comfortable with us as well as our employees. So we treat our clients extremely well, and we also treat our employees very well. So everything has to go hand in hand, and we're dedicated on making the perfect match for them.
And when you first started Woodbell, you were in an executive suite. Now you're in your own space, and you've got 5 employees. How did you make the transition from being an employee to a full-time entrepreneur?
Well, first of all, I had everything going at the office suite in Fountain Valley, and I had what they call the executive receptionist there answering the phones. So they were taking quite a few calls. I was still advertising for employees to start coming in. I was kind of putting out my feels to attract the right companies and so forth, putting together application forms, contracts, and things like that. So then I would go back and return to work the next day. So finally, after so many months of that, the executive suite's office, they called me, and the receptionist, Sonya, what are you doing? You got to come over here. The phones are ringing off the hook. So I said, oh, I guess I got to go.
So you mentioned that you went into this business without adequate business experience. What's the most important thing that you've learned as a result?
Even though I went into it without adequate business knowledge or education backing it, I was able to put things together. I was able to understand and know what I needed to present as a company. For me, and at that time, I wanted to just jump out and just get it done, and that's what I did. So if I were to do it all over again, I think I would still follow the same map, but I think I'd have a little bit more education under my belt.
The recession has affected everyone. For a staffing agency, the impact is even greater. Maintaining an optimistic attitude has been key to Woodbell's survival.
It definitely has affected it, and one of the things that I've tried to concentrate on and what I actually do is, staying very positive. I think it's very important for all of us to stay positive and work together, and so we can afford people the opportunity to work. Even if a company is laid off, they still need manpower, and they had to lay off for their reasons, but they still need manpower. So we may be able to perhaps present this candidate back through their door on either a temp to hire basis or a temporary basis, something of that nature. And then that way we're able to, hopefully, in what I like to think, that we're helping our economy in some way, getting the people back into work.
Now, you mentioned that after 9/11, your business dropped tremendously and you faced fear.
Fear can be very, very ugly, and but I have goals, and that's important that you do have goals because that makes fear a lot weaker. And so I'm able to, and at that time even, I was able to walk out there and say, okay, I know you're there, but I'm here, and I have something that I need to get done. So I'm not going to let fear beat me down because I actually have the control over that. I think fear is only something that, if you let it grab you by your ankles and not let you stand up, I think that, success is standing right there to shake your hand. But if you won't get up, there's nothing anybody could do.
The thing that I don't get is that one of your biggest challenges has been hiring your own employees. You're an employment agency. Why has that been so tough?
I just wanted to give people the opportunity to share in something that I felt was so great. And sometimes I think that became abused, and that was a little unfortunate, but it was something that I had to learn. So I took more chances with myself than I would ever take with a company or a client. I would put myself on that front line, but not the company or client.
Well, we've talked about the tough times. On the opposite side, what brings you joy in this business?
There's a lot of things that bring me joy, actually, but I think people, just people in itself, brings me a lot of joy. Hearing people call me on the phone and tell me, thank you so much. I'm in this job and I really love it. They really did it themselves. I kind of, maybe designed a path here and there, but it was really up to the individual. And that's really, really rewarding, and we can share in that happiness together. So that really makes me happy.